was to Sikkim. Anya was 4 months old.
4 months?
Yeah, yeah, we are quite quite crazy sometimes.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another episode of Parenthood. I'm your host, Neha Garg, and as always, I'm so thrilled to have you here. Parenthood is your space to share, learn, and celebrate the incredible roller coaster ride that is parenthood. Whether you are a new parent, a seasoned one, or just curious about what it takes to balance career, family, and self, this is the place to be. This week, I am joined by someone who brings a wealth of insight, warmth, and a bit of adventure to our conversation. Please welcome Amit Chhabra, Chief Business Officer at a large Indian corporate, husband to Kavya, who works at a digital media house, and dad to the delightful 8-year-old Anya. Over the next hour, we'll delve into Amit's parenting journey, one filled with love, growth, travel stories, skating lessons, and even a heart stopping moment at 14,000 feet. It's going to be an episode packed with raw emotions, lessons, and lots of relatable moments. Let's get started. Amit, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi Neha, it's a pleasure, and let me just give a very important caveat. I think as a parent, I've never received so much attention. So I am actually quite liking it already because I'm a very hands-off father. It's typically so like I don't spend as much time with my daughter as as on an average fathers do. So I'm a
Right.
very hands-off father in that sense because of work and other stuff that's there. But yeah, but that does not mean that I don't get involved in my in before you chuck me out of this podcast, I do get involved a lot as well.
Right.
But yeah, I'm quite looking forward. Yeah, I think parenthood has been quite a journey for me and for
Right.
my wife. We got into it with like very voluntarily and exactly when we wanted. So it's been quite a journey. So yeah, looking forward to sharing my experiences.
Thank you. And before you share your experiences as a father, we would like to get to know you as a person. So, if you were to describe yourself in 3 words, what would they be and why?
Uh, so three qualities I would rather say. I think
Yeah.
uh, I am a very I'm a person who seeks different things all the time. I'm very loyal before you get other ideas, but I like to seek different things. So this may be different food items, this may be different things to do, different places to travel, and I'm
Right.
trying really to inculcate that in my daughter as well and in my wife as well. It's tough, but I'm trying on that front as well. So I
Right.
try different things. Second, I think I am quite hardworking and sincere, and I'm really trying hard to inculcate that again into
Hmm.
my daughter. I'll tell you why it's very important because I think we are in a time and age where a lot of things are being taken for granted by children, by their parents. We are trying to provide a lot of I would say a lot of facilities to our children, be it in terms of money or house helps or teachers, tutors,
Yeah.
coaching stuff, so all kind. And I think while that's good, if you have the facility, you should provide. At the same time, it's very important that our kids stay very hardworking and sincere. That is
Yeah.
very, very important because I think one big difference from where we were and where our children are now is that the schools have become much more liberal, so to say. So I remember, when we were in school, we were supposed to be very hardworking, and the school would punish if we are not hardworking. That's no
Yeah.
longer the case, actually. A lot of these new age schools, and one of those in which Anya studies, they basically say that it's okay if you're not hardworking, and it's okay if you're wrong, and it's okay if you've not done your homework and all, right? So we're trying really hard to be sincere and hardworking, in the current times as well. Thirdly, I'm a very competitive person, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. I'm
Yeah.
extremely competitive, so I am the typical rat racer, so to say. So I will always want to, I can't tolerate somebody being better than or somebody doing better than what I'm doing. It really burns me from inside. So,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to inculcate the same thing, and people will probably hate me for this, but I'm trying hard to inculcate the same thing in my daughter as well.
Yeah.
Uh, because I feel that you know it's important that you have that spirit, and you have to eventually balance between being hardworking and competitive, but probably also being content, and they compete with each other as well. But I think if one can get to that state, that's quite a nirvana kind of a state, because
Okay.
then you're doing good in life. Problem
Right.
is, you're not hardworking enough and not competitive enough, then it becomes tough, and we are seeing that actually, with some of our friends, kids who've grown up are in teenage, or just ending teenage. They don't want to work. A lot of the Gen Zs, we are seeing, like a lot of
Yeah.
these people in my team right now, for example, people who are 20, 25-year old, they're just taking life so much easier, and while if all is good, then it's okay, but it doesn't end well. So
Right.
I think being hardworking, being sincere is extremely important, and I'm really trying hard to inculcate that through sports, through education, through a lot of extracurricular activities. So that's something that I really work on my daughter.
How do you do that? Like you said, through sports and through education, but how do you do that?
So I'll give you an example, right? So let me break down Anya's schedule here. I
Yeah.
think that will give you some, or rather the things that Anya does apart
Right.
from school. So Anya does gymnastics in school. It's a post or a pre-working hours activity that happens in school itself. So she's learning gymnastics.
Yeah.
She's doing that for the last 1 year now. For the last 2.5 years, she's been doing skating quite professionally. So she qualified for the skating nationals last year as well.
Yeah.
We had come to Mohali to participate in the nationals. Unfortunately, she didn't win a medal, but she's won a lot of medals in domestic, or rather in I would say in local tournaments. She does skating for almost 4 days in a day, including the hottest of days and the coldest of days. Like right now, for example, on Sundays, she has a 7 a.m. class at a
Yeah.
at a fairly cold place. But that is the discipline and hard work that we want her to do, because see, it's very easy to say that I can take it easy in life. It's very easy,
Yeah.
and it's very tempting also. Like we
Yeah.
see a lot of our friends, they don't participate in such activities in a very disciplined way. You have some classes going to society, you go there, you sometimes you miss, sometimes it's cold, so you just leave it, that it's okay, it's cold.
Yeah.
But with Anya, we try really hard to ensure that she does it every time, and sports is a great teacher. I personally, I was a national level table tennis player when I was in school.
Right.
So, and I even now I play in the mornings every day. So again, in the winter, you have to go out at 6:30 a.m. and play. It's a task. It's not easy.
Right.
It's a temptation to leave it. But sports does teach you a lot of this discipline. And then once you start enjoying it, I think that is when the competitive spirit develops. So like
Right.
Anya now already, she's quite young still, but it's tough for her to digest a loss.
Hmm.
She really hates it when she loses. So, and like right now she's young, so she cries at times when she loses. All of that happens, and we keep thinking, yeah, is it even worth it, to be honest? She's so young. Is it even worth it to put her in a competitive environment? But we feel, and again, there's no right and wrong in this, but at least our experience has been that we've seen that over the years, like over the last 2 years, she's really developed so well that handling under pressure situations last year versus this year, she's become much better.
Right.
Like, give you a simple example. Last year in the district final skating tournament, she her timing of the skating round that she does, her timing was way less than her personal best, which she used
Right.
to do in practice.
Yeah.
This year, she beat her personal best in the final by about 5%, which is
Wow.
a lot in skating.
Right.
So, and she was a lot more comfortable. She wasn't under pressure. She was able to she was able to give her best, you know,
Hmm.
at, at the stage where it matters, which I feel is very important. So I think that discipline is really helping. And apart from that, just coming back to her schedule, so she does gymnastics. Skating is the main sport, where she's doing it professionally, sort of.
Yeah.
Then she also does badminton. That's a bit more casual, I would say, but she likes to go there thrice a week for an hour or so, and she's taking coaching over there and she's learning. That's more, I think, because I was playing, so she also sort of just picked it up, and then now she enjoys going there with her friends. That's more casual, I would say. But skating is a serious sport that she's picked up. Apart from that, she has a chess class once a week. She's learning chess, which is helping hopefully develop her sort of logical thinking and all. Then she does music actually. That's something that Kavya really is more involved in. I can be a terrible singer, as you can imagine. So Kavya really works with her on singing. So she has a music class again once a week or so. So again, these are some of the things which in which we keep her occupied. Now, obviously, and a question that keeps coming, and honestly, my mom keeps asking me this question: Why are you keeping her so occupied?
Right.
I tell her that it's good because keeping occupied is good. It keeps you sort of focused on something. You're learning something creative and you're working towards something. And my mom tells me that you did nothing of that sort when you were 8 year old, and you also come up okay, right? So then what's the point? And then I keep telling her, and then this typical mom son debate. I
Yeah.
tell her this is a different time, and she says no, this is the same time, and all of that. So, but honestly, we are seeing kids of our friends growing up along with us, right? Uh, we see a lot of those kids spending more time on television, a
Yeah.
lot more time on on going downstairs and playing in the society, which is okay. It's childhood. You should do that. And he also does it. But we're seeing, kids also get a lot distracted in all of those, like again, an example that we saw, one of Anya's friends in society, he started going out, with other friends, and they would roam around the society on cycles and scooters and all that. It's just bringing a lot more maturity and a lot more exposure, which is not needed, So,
Right.
like some of them started using foul language. Obviously, right? You're around, there's nobody watching you, you learn all of this, right? There's too much exposure.
Right.
Kids have phones at a very early age. So we also thought that keeping Anya focused on disciplined activities will also not ensure that she doesn't get exposed to, or rather, even if she gets exposed to, because beyond a point, you can't stop exposure, right? She'll go to school, she'll get exposure.
Right.
But just try that she doesn't get exposure or starts liking all of that too much or
Yeah.
gets too much exposure because so you will be quite surprised, and this may sound scary to a lot of the viewers, but we've seen girls Anya's age also going, mother sister and all that as well,
Yeah.
because you have a maid and they speak in a certain way, you follow that same language, and you have all the time in the world, and then there are other friends, somebody has exposure, let's say in somebody's house or family, people use foul language. That's very common. That
Right.
happens, right? Now kids they pick up really fast, and then they speak amongst each other, and that they all want to talk about all of that as well. So
Right.
so that's a problem, right? You don't really want that exposure to come in, or kids to start liking that. That's more important. See,
Right.
exposure will happen. Beyond a point, you can't stop exposure,
Right.
because you can't really keep them tied at the home, right? They'll go to school, they'll talk to friends, they'll have play dates, they'll have birthday parties, they'll all talk and meet and enjoy, and that's important. I think if we can build an environment where we are comfortable with them having any exposure, because we know that the kid is focused on what they want in life. I think that is what we're trying to do. Easier said than done. It's a journey. I think
Yeah.
I also don't know what I want in life right now, but it's a journey. So I think we're trying to put Anya on that journey so that she's focused and she does good in life.
And
Long answer.
what do you think Anya feels about it?
See, kids are very malleable, to be honest. So whatever we get the kids to focus on, they learn, or they figure out that that is the way of life. That's one. The second thing is they also react to what they're seeing around
Right.
them, right? So if let's say I am a lazy father who's sitting at home all day, then I can't expect Anya to suddenly be the disciplined child.
Right.
So, but Anya knows, that there is a schedule. Like I'll give you yesterday's example, right? I was in Mumbai. I came home quite late at about 1:30 or so. Now, I was up. Anya knows I was in late. She was asking me in the morning, what time did you come? But then I was up at 7. We got ready for office and school. I drop Anya to the bus stop every day, and I went back to work. At the regular time at which I go.
Right.
So now, as a daughter or as a kid, she sees that that is how it works.
Right.
Even if you're late at work, if you're late at home the previous night, you have to get ready and the schedule follows.
Right.
So that's the norm for her as well now. Like I'll give you another example. A lot of times, so Anya's skating class happens at 7 a.m. on Sundays.
Yeah.
You have to leave home at 6:30. A lot of times you're also out partying on Saturday nights, because
Hmm.
we also like to party and have our own life apart from Anya as well, which is also very important, and we'll talk about that as well at some point. But we make sure that even if we are out and let's say we are home by 12 or 1, we don't miss the skating class.
Hmm.
There's a bit of compromise on sleep, which is not a good thing, I know, but but at least that discipline is maintained, and then that discipline Anya also likes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
coming to your question, Anya also believes in this now, we feel, because she that's how she behaves. Like, she hates missing school. She's
Right.
missed I think couple of days this year, and they were all because she was ill, or not well, etc. on those days. But apart from that, like, we would never travel on days when Anya is school. We'll
Right.
really hate missing her classes or her school. Like, we have to plan a trip, in April, and the only consideration is Anya's, school days, because we don't want her to miss school. So all of that eventually, is getting inculcated in her, because that's sort of the culture that we are trying to develop at home. So like now, when we had requested Anya on one of these days, why don't you miss school? We'll do something. And she was
Yeah.
like, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
So now that's the way of living for her, and that's a
Right.
good. Being disciplined is good. It can't really harm in life.
And is Kavya also like that, or has
Very
she?
much.
uh,
So the way I am to Anya, Kavya is to me. She ensures that I am also at the task and and working.
So has it been always the case, or is it like one person influencing the other? Has it is it been like that, or you just came together like that? How did you two meet? What is your story? Tell us
So,
about that.
yeah, it's a very fun story. We got arranged marriage actually. We had an
Okay.
arranged marriage, so it's not and it's quite uncommon, we see, around this time, specifically when I compare to you two. So. So it's a very, I would say it's a very traditional story, to be honest. We were introduced to each other by somebody. Initially, I refused. Kavya also wasn't very interested. Then we met each other. We had a common friend actually, and the common friend said, so we typically do a reference check of sorts, right? So
Right.
I did a reference check. The common friend in between said that the girl is too good and very choosy.
Mm.
So only if you're too good, then you should even try to have a chat with her. And
Oh.
the competitive person in me just rose up to the occasion. And yeah, then things happened. Yeah, we liked each other. I think the good thing is, we think quite alike.
Right.
Uh, we think similar things. We say similar things. Our interests are common. Obviously there are a few differences, and that's important.
Yeah.
Largely we are very similar people.
Yeah.
So that clicked, and we both are quite disciplined as well. So
Yeah.
ourselves, we like to rather, I would say Kavya likes to manage the house in a certain way, and then I comply with it because there's no other option. Uh, I have to
Will
live
she
in that.
like hearing it?
Yeah, yeah. She. I think she likes it, but she also hates me for it a bit. But then I think a bit of, my CEO in office says this quite a lot, that there should be a bit of discomfort in a relationship as well. It
Yeah.
just keeps you going.
Yeah.
If everything's too rosy, then you're not challenging each other enough.
Right.
Uh, True for office, I take it back home as well.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun pulling her leg. I think she enjoys it. So.
And what about Anya? Tell us about how she is as a person, and is she a mix of both of you? Is she more of one person or the other?
So very interesting. And actually that's how it should be as well. So I think it's very normal. I think she's picked up qualities from both of us. Like, she's very like, as she's very diligent, touchwood, so like homework and all, she likes to finish as the first thing as she comes back home.
Oh,
So she would typically, come into home. She comes in at home at about 3:30, and the first thing she does is open her bag and take out her homework. Typically, it's a 10-minute homework. It's not a lot of homework. The
yeah.
kids in school, they hardly give homework. But that's the first thing she'll do. She'll take out her bag and do her homework.
Right.
So she likes doing that. She likes doing her classes. She likes going on time. She likes spending time. So, and I think that, honestly, I feel Kavya brings in that disciplined part to her.
Yeah.
I'm also quite disciplined, but I think I bring in the more fun part to her. That's how it typically happens. It's moms
Yeah.
are the bossy kinds, and fathers are the more fun types. So I think it's exactly like that. It's very textbook, in that sense. So I would, me and Anya, when we are together, we like to crack jokes. We like to talk silly stuff a lot. We'll talk in some funny hack. Like, one of the things we have picked up recently is, we're talking in some funny Eastern European accent of sorts.
Oh,
So we talk to
How
each other
did
like
that
that.
come about? How
I
did
don't
it?
know. I think we were watching some, we were watching something on, I think, Netflix or something, and it just happened, and I started talking, and she just loved it, and I remember for like half the day, she just could not stop laughing because I was talking like that, and then she calls it crazy talks. So yeah, so we've been doing that, and it's a typical European language, right? So you don't say talk, you say talk. We've been doing a lot of crazy talks since the last 1 month or so. And now she's also learned to say like that. And it's just very silly, but then we enjoy it. It's fun. That's the innocent side of childhood also, right?
Yeah,
Need not be, you don't have to call a stand-up comedian to be funny, right? So we
yeah,
we make our own funny jokes. So me and Anya really like to make Kavya laugh. So
yeah,
we do a lot of stuff we do a lot of drama. We'll make some funny rhymes. Like one of the things we were trying off late was every day in the morning we'll make one funny rhyming line where
yeah.
we compare Kavya to the vegetable we have eaten in the morning. So like she was bangan ka bharta one day, and then she was koftas one day and dal one day, and we would compare one of Kavya's qualities with the dal or the kofta. So it's very silly,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's good fun as well. So plus we're able to pull Kavya's leg, so it's even more fun.
Yeah, and when do you get to spend time with her, Amit? What time of the day is when you get to spend time with Anya?
So it's quite calendarized actually, to be honest. So mornings I get about 20 minutes with her because that's the time when I get her ready and get her to the bus stop. So it's
Right.
a 5 minute ride plus 15 minutes in the house. We were getting ready and getting ready for office and school.
Yeah.
That's one. That's actually all the time in the week. Mostly, obviously, if it's a holiday at some point, or I come in early, or she's up late, we get more time.
Yeah.
Like before yesterday, the winter vacations were on. So she
Yeah.
would sleep late. She would sleep at like 11:30. So we will get time together at night as well.
Right.
Typically, on regular working weekdays, by the time I'm home, she's already asleep.
Yeah.
Most of Monday to Fridays are mom days, and Saturday Sunday are father days. That's
Okay.
how that's how it's divided.
Right.
So unless obviously if there is some homework to be completed or something to be done, that's when the mom takes over. But apart from that, weekends are papa days, and we'll go for a round of cycling, or I'll take her to the skating class, or we'll book a badminton court, and just the two of us will go play badminton,
Right.
or we'll at times we'll watch something on television, or we'll go out. Like we like our Saturday Sunday lunches outside as well.
Yeah.
uh, she likes eating dim sums a lot, so we go to a dim sum restaurant nearby. Or yeah, we'll do stuff. At times it's just sitting at home and playing.
Yeah.
That's the most common activity. It's quite underrated, let me tell you. It's very, very underrated. But just sitting at home and playing is actually the activity that Anya enjoys the most. It's
Right.
something we learned from her. So we
Yeah.
do ask her, कहीं चलते हैं, कोई play area चलते हैं, or let's go out, let's go to some farm nearby in
Yeah.
winters. Summers you can't do that, but or let's call some of your friend, etc. Right? So she would typically say that let's sit at home and play.
Oh.
It was initially, and that's what girls do, by the way. Huh? You have a boy, so that day may never come to you because boys are different. The boys are very different.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, we'll talk in 5 years.
yeah, unless you can train her like that. So, but girls, I've seen, I've heard rather, they like to just sit and play and talk.
Yeah.
I think that's how a lot of girls are wired.
Yeah.
Uh, um, so, and I know they become weird when they grow up, but at least when they're younger, that's what they say. So
Yeah.
we do that a lot. Like Ane has a cabinet full of games. A lot of board games. She
Yeah.
likes playing Monopoly a lot. So we just pick up a game and then we play. And then there are these three, four, five games. We all sit together and play.
Yeah.
That's really the activity that Anna really enjoys. And then at times we also do fun stuff. We'll play like simple games like musical chairs, right?
Hmm.
And all five of us, including my parents, will play musical chairs at home.
Right.
Uh, we'll play dance and freeze. And I'm a terrible dancer, but she really loves when I dance. And she copies. The worst thing is Anya is dancing like me right now. So, and Kavya hates it.
Is it intentional or has
No,
she
no,
just picked up?
I think it's in the genes. So I'm sure she'll come over that. That's one thing where I totally don't want her to emulate me. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's the time I spend with her. So either I take her to those activities uh, or yeah, that's the time I spend.
Right.
I would really want to continue, and we try. We try to do something new all the time. So like another activity we picked up. So we got this small flashcard game, flashcard, not a game rather, flashcards on country
Right.
capitals, currencies, some monument, etc. So we've left it now. We did it for a few days. We would pick up a card every day and just learn about that country. So like
Right.
the country is France, the capital is Paris, the currency is euro, and a famous monument is Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
We'll just see that, we'll remember that card, then we'll next day we'll pick up both the cards, a new one and the and France, and we'll learn about both, and then we'll pick up a third card. The
Right.
next it's just learning, learning something new, because while we like to travel a lot, we can't travel so much as well beyond a point.
Right.
So, but we like to learn about countries, about like one thing we failed at. We were trying hard to get Anya to watch Nat Geo, National Geographic
Yeah.
on YouTube. She watches some really silly stuff on YouTube also,
Yeah.
which is what typical kids watch, and it's quite silly, and it's okay because she's also a little kid.
Yeah.
But we were trying to get her to watch Nat Geo, let's say, to learn more about environment and the typical stuff that's there on Nat Geo and Discovery. But we just failed. So she likes instead watching Diana Roma and some really silly TV shows. But they're good. That's you have to do stuff your age also. So
Yeah.
that's what
Tell
she
me
does.
something, Amit. Something has struck me while you were talking. You said, weekdays are mom days and weekends are dad days, so to say. So mom is also working, Kavya is also working. How does that work? She's also working. How does weekdays work for her?
So credit to her, she was in a job when Anya was born. She left the job. She would have taken a maternity leave and then figured out after 6 months, maybe joined back, etc. She just left the job because I think she was very clear that she wanted to give time to Anya
Right,
from the beginning. So for the first 5 years of Anya, she wasn't working. We tried some hustling stuff around that. We tried to set up a small business, etc. And we spent time doing that. It didn't work eventually, but it's just when Anya turned 5, is when Kavya actually started a full-time job.
right,
It's practically still not a fully full-time job in the sense that so Kavya works from 9 to 3,
right,
and then she comes back home, picks up Anya from school, and comes back home.
right,
Post that she's working from home, but it's a bit off and on.
right,
Anyways, Anya also has classes, so Kavya has time, to work, so it sort of balances out. But but yeah, so I won't say it's a full-fledged, let's say 10, 11-hour job. So there's a
right,
bit of flexibility built into it. The office guys are also very, very kind. They like during vacations, or let's say when there's something off, then actually Anya is able to go to Kavya's office as well, and she can spend like
right.
half the day there. They have a very fun office, by the way. They've built a kids room. There are more kids which also come.
Okay.
Advertising is a fun place. They allow stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it sort of it balances out. It balances out somehow. We sort of couple of times when Kavya was stuck, I brought Anya to my office as well. That can happen once in a while here. So I was able to do that. Once Kavya was on an offsite, and we had to really push hard to for her to go to the offsite because she was finding it very, very hard. She's not able to. I think one of the struggles, for us, I'll say us because otherwise I'll get screwed up later.
Yeah.
Uh, is that letting go is also very tough. It's not easy. So for Kavya to let go Anya has been quite a journey as well.
Yeah.
Uh, like for the first 4 5 years of her, we weren't going out alone, typically. And I have my parents with me, so we
Yeah.
can we can leave her with parents, but it was tough for her to leave Anya at home and go out.
Right.
But now we've started to do that regularly.
Yeah. Now
Uh,
she's grown up also a little.
and now she's grown up. At times, she also says that, I'll stay with Dadu Dadi. So
Wow.
she's also growing up in that sense.
Yeah.
Typically, when we go to loud places and all, or we have to go really far, let's say. So, and or we're going to places where I don't know the children, then she's going to get
Yeah.
really bored eventually.
Yeah.
So, so that's when she also says that, maybe I can stay back. And
Right.
with Dadi, you have a fun time, right? They don't
Yeah.
stop for anything, and they really
Right.
spoil you up. So, so Anya also enjoys that part as well. So we manage, but it's largely, I think Kavya has taken that call and decision, and it was actually her decision. I was not very keen on that, but
Yeah.
she said that, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's how it's been. So it's largely her. I have been a very weekend dad, as I said.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's largely it's largely her who's bringing her
Okay.
up.
Yeah. And I want to go back to your the beginning of your parenthood journey, Amit. How was it when you first became a dad? How what was the pregnancy experience like for you, because you were the outsider to that journey in a sense? And were there any memorable or defining moments that defined the arrival of your child and maybe the journey before that?
So we were very, I think things touch wood, things went as per planned largely. We wanted Anya at a certain point. Like we wanted to go to Ladakh, do a road trip before we conceive.
Yeah.
So we were able to time everything sort of well accordingly, and largely things went to plan. See, pregnancy is our experience, and again, it's only one experience, but
Yeah.
largely, it's a quite a scary experience.
Yeah.
For us, it was a scary experience because of, I think, nothing but the fear of the unknown.
Right.
So I remember, so Kavya's office used to be about 30 kilometers uh,
Oh,
you know, from where we used to live. She was working at Apollo Hospital, Sarita Vihar,
yeah.
and we used to live in West Delhi. So it was quite a journey.
Yeah.
She had a minor accident on one of the days, and she used to drive herself. So the next day, I gave my driver to Kavya and said that, you get a driver.
Yeah.
And, so there was a bit of a fear. We overcame that. Then the typical thing that happens, and we've seen this happening with a lot of people now, is around the third month, the placenta is lower, and the doctor tells you to go on bed rest.
Right.
We went through that journey as well for a month or so. Kavya was on not on bed rest, but at least was home arrested, so to
Yeah.
say. So we went through that as well. I think the scariest part for us was two things actually. One was, and thankfully it was a false alarm. But I remember in the 6th month, I think the 6th month ultrasound, the doctor told us that the heartbeat seems a bit irregular. But then he also said that this is normal and most kids are able to come out of it.
Okay.
What do you make of it? Why do you have to tell this
Yeah.
to us?
Yeah. If it's normal, then keep it to yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then he told us, and the guy was a very friendly neighborhood doctor. So
Yeah.
probably he was trying to be nice, but that wasn't very nice. We got really shit scared.
Yeah.
That happened. Then thankfully the next time it was all okay. So,
Yeah.
and he said कि ऐसे ही होता है. So
Hmm.
we said, then फिर बताया क्यों
Huh.
था? Then actually the scariest part was I think in the 8th month, when Kavya had a bit of a stomach upset. So we
Okay.
ate some roadside food and Kavya had a bit of a stomach upset. And as a result, all of the fluid dried up
Yeah.
in that bag.
Yeah.
That was a bit, that could have been scary. So we went to a hospital, and for a couple of days, she was on a drip, it on
Okay.
IV drip. Basically, she was on an IV drip. So we would go in the morning, get an IV drip through the entire day, get tested, and then come back in the evening. And we did that for a couple of days. Uske baad, it was largely okay. We were in Delhi, but then in the 9th month, Kavya went to Ludhiana to her parents' house.
Right.
I think she was more comfortable there, which is, I think, the right thing as well. So she was in Ludhiana, and then touchwood things went to plan. After that, I was not there when Anya was born.
Oh, you were not there?
Uh, as in, I was on the way because Ludhiana is about 6, 7 hours from Delhi.
Yeah.
I was driving when I got a call, and I was we always wanted a girl, and we had always planned, not planned, you can't plan for it, but we always wanted a girl.
Yeah.
And I got a call from Kavya's mom saying, "Beta, it's a girl." I had a little tear in my eye, but
Oh,
and I was driving, I was on a highway,
yeah.
so we got there in a couple of hours. So yeah, that's how it started.
Oh, I'm having goosebumps. But how was it when you first held her? What went through your mind, and how was the experience like? Can you relive it for us?
I think थोड़ा filmy है ये सब. It's very surreal. Like I don't remember how I reacted. I don't remember what I felt because it's a very surreal moment. At that point you don't know what's happening to you. Suddenly you become a father, right?
Yeah,
Well, obviously you've been thinking about it, you've been planning about it, all of that. But when the baby actually comes in your hand, it's very surreal. So you don't know what to do.
yeah,
That's exactly what happened. So I don't remember what happened at that time.
yeah,
It was. I remember that we really partied hard. The night. Not we, as Kavya was not there, obviously, but
yeah,
I was there, and my brother-in-law and all of that. We went out, and because we were all very happy. We really wanted a girl. We were very keen,
yeah,
and that happened, and everything went to plan, and so we were really happy. So we partied out. That's what we did. That's what I remember.
yeah.
Uh, I don't really remember what I felt. Yeah, it's very surreal. I think people who tell you that what they felt, they're lying. Uh, because it's a moment which is it's a very once in a lifetime moment, right? It's not going
Yeah,
to happen. It's not going to happen to me again.
yeah.
So it's a very once in a lifetime moment, and yeah, it was. I think it would be it would have been beautiful. I don't remember.
Yeah, and you said, you always wanted a girl. So was there any specific reason for it, or just it was just your wish that I want to raise a girl?
I think it was. I don't know. I just wanted. Matlab, it was just a wish. I think that's
Yeah.
the right way to say it.
Yeah,
See, girls are the. I feel. I'll tell you why I feel. I feel
yeah,
girls are much nicer, sweeter. It's fun being with
yeah,
them. Boys are also fun, but boys are beyond a point. Like I don't know. I would not have liked to have a boy. Obviously, had it been a boy, I would have still loved him, and all of
yeah,
that. Girls are so much sweeter, honestly, compared to boys. Like I see boys of our friends, you have a boy, so I see him as well. But girls are just a tad bit cuter.
yeah.
And
And
I think that they are more attached to parents. I think that's the see. I have two sisters as well.
yeah,
So my parents live with me, but let me also tell you, my sisters are probably more attached to my parents.
right. Yeah,
That's also because
yeah.
distance is whatever you say, right?
Hard to
Distance.
grow fonder.
Exactly. So maybe it's that as well. But I feel girls are more attached to parents. They love more. Probably it's because of distance. Eventually that's how the system is in India. Uh, but yeah, I don't know why, but I always wanted a girl.
Right, right. And how would you say the parenthood experience has impacted you and Kavya, both individually and as partners?
I think as partners, it's been a very, very, I would say, tough experience.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, what happens is your partnership actually takes a backseat
Right.
when you're raising a child. That's very normal. And I was very worried at one point. So I read a lot of articles and saw videos on YouTube and all on how to make sure that your partnership or relationship doesn't get hurt by a child coming in. So the
Yeah.
first 2 3 years are actually easy because
Yeah.
they're still okay because the child is not an independent personality by herself. But like now on and now is also I think now we are on the path to recovery again. But
Yeah.
I would say the last 2 3 years were a bit bruising for the relationship
Right.
because the child takes a lot out of you,
Yeah.
uh, and the child is not independent, during that phase,
Yeah.
and emotionally, physically, time wise, it just is extremely demanding,
Yeah.
and it becomes even more demanding when you're trying to be, you're trying to be a good parent and trying to, so a lot of times you've also seen that, a lot of kids are brought up by maids.
Right.
Uh, for kids who are, let's say, 5 year olds, there's a tuition teacher which comes at home and teaches.
Yeah.
But in our case, we wanted to do that on our own because what we realized is that, Neha, it's the first probably 10 12 years when the kid is also most attached to you, and then they start drifting.
Right.
Once they become a teenager, they'll have a life of their own. They'll start drifting apart. they'll have their own friends. They would not want to spend as much time. Like I'll give you an example. My sister has a son who's 14-year-old now.
Right.
He's We can see him drifting apart right now.
Hmm.
He was a very attached boy, he was a very good boy. But we see him drifting apart in the sense that now he has a life of his own. He has a thinking of his own. He has a
Hmm.
brain and a heart of his own, and he likes to do things as per him. So
Right.
even when we are all together, he will just, sit in a corner and read a book.
Hmm.
That's what he likes to do.
Hmm.
Or like to play a game or something, but so he likes to be on his own now.
Yeah.
There is an age when that will happen, and it's not very far, right? So for Anya, it's probably another 3 4 years.
Right.
So I think we really want to spend time, and Kavya more so. So like Kavya likes to teach Anya on her own. Whenever, let's say, they have to, like, she's doing a lot of stuff which the school is not teaching, but she likes
Yeah.
Anya to be sort of in the zone. So I think it's that she that we want, that we sort of keep her attached to us, and at the same time, slowly become independent. I think I've
Yeah.
missed the question that you asked, but because I went
I
on a
was
tangent.
asking about I was asking about how it has impacted your partnership.
So,
Yeah.
so, so yeah, so yeah, good, thanks for asking that again. I think the relationship went through a bruising experience, is getting better now.
Yeah.
It's a tough experience, your personal sort of romantic relationship just takes a total backseat.
Right.
So and I remember I used to tell Kavya, "You're so nice to Anya, why are you not so nice to me anymore?"
Oh.
But over time I realized it happens with everybody. So
Right.
it's
Yeah.
how it is.
Yeah.
So I think that happened, but it's getting better now because now Anya is growing up. She's
Right.
slowly, she's like I think she has a 10% life of her own right now, and it's
Mm.
going to increase slowly by about 13 14. She'll have a 90% life of her own. So that's there. I think personally, honestly, yeah, I think personally, I one thing that has happened, I sleep less now. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that happened because, let's say, if I earlier used to catch sleep on the weekend, now I would spend that time with Anya.
Right.
I will want to spend that time with her. So
Right.
I think we just setting our priorities straight. Earlier, I would probably on the weekends during the day go out and play something. Now
Yeah.
I don't do that. I would rather play with her. So
Yeah.
it's just about, it's just about priorities, because you have to give time to her first before you give time to, let's say, some of your extracurricular interests and also. So that
Right.
happens. That's, I would say, it's a phase of life. And they will, as I said, there will come a point when Anya will have 90% of her own life.
Yeah.
We'll have a lot of time for each other and for everything else. We won't
Yeah.
know what to do with that much time. I think that's the problem
Yeah.
at that point. So we'll figure out when that happens.
Yeah. And in your parenting journey so far, Amit, if you could choose one moment that stands out, it can be, a good moment, bad moment, whatever. One moment that stands out to you or probably encapsulates what parenthood means to you. What would that be?
I think if one moment that stands out, it has to be a positive moment. I think I still remember it was one of our skating tournaments. It was a district level trial, so it was the qualification for the nationals.
Right.
And she was in the final round, and she just at the start of the race she fell,
Uh-huh.
and she fell, and it typically hurts you when you fall because you're not wearing any guards or anything. Also, you're just wearing a
Right.
helmet,
Yeah.
guards on your arms or legs or anything of that sort. She fell, and typically, in practice, every time we have seen when she falls, she cries and doesn't get
Right.
up. So she fell, and she was left behind in the race. It was a 3 lap or a 5 lap, it's 3 lap race, I think. She just magically stood up and got up, and she came, I think, second in the race eventually.
Oh, wow.
She covered. Uh, it was quite defining. Me and Kavya had tears. We were there, and we still have that recording as well because we were recording the race.
Yeah.
Quite defining because we felt that she's become she's growing up.
Yeah.
So that was quite defining. Personally for me it was quite defining because I have all my life given a lot of I would say I've given a lot of importance to sports.
Yeah.
So for me it was a big deal, that we qualified, and she stood up and qualified. So yeah, that's probably one.
Wow.
Apart from that, a lot of fun moments, but yeah, this was serious. So this was one serious moment, where we felt that wow, this is a big deal.
Yeah. and and probably like this is your child after all, like the spirit. I think it is all a culmination of all that you've been trying to teach her, in that sense, coming together, and you can see that in person, in
Yeah,
flesh, happening. So
yeah, it's quite defining. Yes, yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And let's talk about travel, Amit. Travel, you've said it's a big part of your family's story. So
Yeah.
you traveled with an infant Anya, you've been traveling with a growing up Anya, and then now an 8-year-old Anya. So tell us something that have been the absolute joy of those adventures and some of the challenges that you faced.
I think all of those have been very interesting, and they've been different to each other, but all of the those have been very interesting. So, like for example, when so our first trip with Anya was to Sikkim. Anya was 4 months old. Uh,
4 months?
yeah, yeah, we are quite quite crazy sometimes.
Uh,
Uh, we took her to Natula Pass in Sikkim. It is at 14,000 feet, as you said.
yeah,
It was probably stupid in hindsight, but then that's what memories are.
yeah,
That's how memories become memories. But we took her to Sikkim. Actually, on the traveling part, we found our learning has been that traveling with an infant Anya was a lot easier
right.
because the kid doesn't need much, right? And they sleep a lot. So
Yeah,
during a journey or a flight, they would sleep.
yeah,
They're not very demanding. At best, they need a rattle or two, which is okay. You can carry tons of them. So we went to Sikkim, and that was a fun trip. I can talk about the incident also later. There was an
yeah,
incident. But largely, it was a fun trip. It was quite cold. It was in, I think, October end or something. But we had a like Anya was too young, but we had a good time over
yeah.
there. I would say a very interesting experience we had was a road trip. So when Anya was 6 months, this is 2 months later in December, we traveled to the Run of Kutch.
Uh-huh.
And we did a road trip from Delhi to Gujarat.
Wow.
So we love doing road trips, both of
Yeah.
us. That was quite a fun road trip, full of adventures and experiences. It was quite good fun, to be honest. I remember we reached Gujarat on day one itself. And we stayed at a tent house. It was a jungle camp. So there are two Run of Kutches. There's a little Run of Kutch and there's a greater Run of Kutch.
Yeah.
Greater Run of Kutch is the white desert. So we
Yeah.
went there the next day, but we went to the little Run of Kutch. On day one, it was in the middle of a dense forest, and we were staying in a camp which
Yeah.
had I still remember we reached, and we all wanted to just sort of straighten up our backs because we were in the car since morning. So we put Anya on the bed in the cottage, and suddenly, and I was in the restroom, and Kavya suddenly shouted, and I came running. What happened? And Kavya saw a monitor lizard this big
Oh shit.
on just very near to where Anya was. And lizards can be quite harmful to kids,
Yeah.
if they come near. So we got quite scared, and I'm also not very fond of lizards, obviously. So we got a bit scared. Then we called the hotel guys. You know what happened? The guy said very casually, "Sir, you don't have to worry. This is not a monitor lizard. This is a house lizard. This is supposed to be here." But yeah, so again, so these are fun experiences. You really like them, you enjoy, and
Yeah.
you move on. You get scared at times, but then you move on. So that was there. We went to that famous place where you have those cracks in
Yeah.
the desert.
Yeah.
We put Anya down on one of the cracks and we clicked a nice photo. And then my mom scolded me later. What were you even doing? And I was 6 months. She didn't know what was happening to her anyways.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember we had actually it's quite easy to travel with an infant because when they are on breastfeed, it's you can just go anywhere. You don't have to even carry stuff along. It's just too easy.
Right. Yeah.
So whenever the kid is crying or hungry, you just plant the kid. It's just too easy. At least for the
Yeah.
father, it's very easy.
Yeah.
That's what Kavya tells me also, that it was quite easy then.
Yeah.
Uh, so we did that. We went to I think Seychelles when Anya was about 9, 10 months old. That
Mm-hmm.
was quite a fun trip as well. That one, while Anya doesn't remember, we have shown her photos of that. So anyways, so we've done a lot of road trips like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think the fun part is, me and Anya talk a lot about these trips.
Yeah.
So obviously Anya doesn't remember any of this now, but she knows all the stories of these trips. We have seen photos together. Like there's a story that we keep on talking about. We were in Seychelles and Anya was in a pram and we were in a resort, eating our breakfast. And a crow came and sat on Anya's pram. And so what we used to do was, in the pram there was a sort of small feeding tray. So we
Right.
used to just do small bites and keep in front of her, and she would pick them one by one.
Yeah.
The crow came and picked up the bite,
Yeah.
and it was scary then. Obviously, suddenly
Yeah.
a crow came too near to her, but now we showed her photos, and and we remember those stories. Like we talk about all of these very very fondly about about the various places we have traveled to. Our traveling journey has changed a lot over time, as you would expect.
Yeah.
So all of these, Gujarat, Seychelles, we went to Croatia. These
Mm.
are these are obviously our travel stories because we decided where to go, and Anya had no say in where we are
Yeah.
going, etc. I think the defining had gone to South Africa,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a road trip through the country.
Right.
When I really enjoyed it, Anya actually got quite bored because
Oh.
see, now that she's grown up, she likes to do activities. So either with somebody, like with another child,
Yeah.
or we go to some theme park or some gaming area or some fun place like that.
Right.
She doesn't like nature anymore.
Yeah.
Think she's at that age now. So when I remember, the defining moment was we are in Kruger National Park. We are driving on our own, and we stop at a place, and we have lions and giraffes and tigers, around us, and elephants,
Mm.
at different places. So we were standing at a place, and there were lions around us. There were four, five lions. There was a family of lions around us. So me and Kavya stopped. We were making a video. We were looking around, and we told Anya, look outside. There's a lion. Anya is on the back seat. She's coloring in a book.
Mm.
And she looked out and said, wow. And then she went back to her coloring. And she's like, let me focus on what I'm doing right now.
Right.
We realized that maybe nature is not something which is enthusing her right now.
Yeah.
Uh, since then, what we've been trying to do is travel with another child and another family. That
Uh-huh.
way, we realize that we're also able to enjoy more because I think Anya now likes to play with somebody and play with a friend as well, apart from us.
Right.
So like, we went to Singapore this summer earlier in the year,
Yeah.
or rather last year now. And she loved it there because we went to the Universal Studios, we went to Legoland, we
Yeah.
went to water park, and she just enjoyed it too much.
Mm.
And she had another friend, one of her friends who's been with her since preschool, so they know each other well, etc. as well. So that
Right.
was, that was fun. So now, over time, we have now started to have holidays with some other people
Right.
because we are able to enjoy more and Anya is also able to enjoy more. So the pattern has changed. Now it's no more extensive road trips. We like to go to cities where they have these museums and fun places and all. So we like to do all of these more now instead of the natural stuff, which me and Kavya like more. So we try to balance amongst the two. I think now is the time when we can travel as per Anya because right now she also likes to travel with us. I think there will come a point when she'll say, "Why don't you go? Why don't you two go together?"
Yeah.
So and I'm waiting for that to happen, but whenever that happens. But I think that's when probably again our habits will change. But yeah, we'll have to travel. I think
Yeah.
that's one thing that I think brings. So I'll tell you, Neha, honestly, traveling is very underrated at times, I feel, because
Yeah.
I think what you think of traveling is what happens in that moment. But I think traveling gives you a lot of memories.
Yeah.
Uh, it gives you a lot of stuff to, positive stuff to think about later on after your trip is over or your or after you've come back home. So
Yeah.
like I'm talking about the stuff that happens in Seychelles or Croatia or South Africa. It happened then, right? But I still remember
Yeah.
them and I really fondly think about them and we discuss them with between the three of us. We see photos at times. We have
Yeah.
another habit of printing an album of wherever we go.
Oh,
So so we
to
we
have
watch.
something tangible
Yeah,
to,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
So yeah, so traveling really helps. It's extremely underrated. You must like all of you must travel with kids. I think it's a very learning experience also because it just gives you a different exposure altogether. Like one of the things I really want to do, I've not been able to do till now is take Anya on a trek.
Right.
Uh, so we'll try to do that. We're not the very rough and tough jungle kind, who will
Mm.
camp in the jungle probably.
Yeah.
because yeah, we're not those kinds. But yeah, we like to go on a trek. So I think that's something that's been on the list for some time.
Yeah. And tell us about the choking scare, Amit. I've been wanting to talk to you about that since I learned of that.
It wasn't choking act. Yeah, it was choking of a different kind. So we went to Nathula Pass. It's at quite a height, and I remember we and my parents were with me as well. They're about 70-year-old. So we asked the local guide, if it's okay for parents to go because it's quite a height, and my mom is a bit of a heart patient as well. So the guy said that that is largely okay. You have a young kid, but kids will be okay because kids are extremely adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
And it's you about your parents. If they feel any discomfort, you can quickly come down. So
Mm.
go now that you're here, you must go. So we
Mm.
went up. So Nathula Pass is a 2-hour drive from Gangtok,
Mm.
which is where we were staying, and it is quite steep. It is quite a steep climb. So we went up, all five of us, along with the driver. We went up in a car. It was quite cold. There was a bit of snow around as well. And so actually, I didn't see any of this in front of me because so what happened was we reached the Nathula Pass, and because it was quite cold and windy outside, and Anya and Kavya stayed in the car, and me and my dad went out to the to see the museum and the sort of the hilltop, etc. So we went out. Phones weren't working.
Mm.
Uh, we came back after like I think 20 minutes or so, and the car wasn't there.
Oh,
So now I'll tell you what happened in the background because this is what I
yeah.
also heard from Kavya. So what happened is Anya, when they came up, Anya started crying after
Yeah.
some. We had gone. We had just left the car, and we were seeing the museum and stuff upstairs. Anya started crying, and it's okay, kids cry, So I think we went on with it for some time, and maybe she was hungry, so we tried to feed her. That didn't work. Maybe she was sleepy, and we tried to make her sleep. That didn't work. But then over time, her face started turning a bit pale,
Oh,
or rather turning blue,
yeah.
uh, which later we got to know means that there's lack of oxygen.
Yeah.
Uh, so we couldn't figure out what to do. And the driver was there. He was also not able to figure out what to do. And I didn't strike to them that maybe we should go down because kids were supposed to be adaptable to all of this. But luckily, what happened at that time, and it's God comes in all kinds of faces maybe, but some kind of a monk came to Kavya, and she knocked on the window. Imagine, he knocked on the window. We didn't call him.
Mm.
He knocked on the window and said, is the child facing any problem?
Mm.
So Kavya said, and typically you don't talk to strangers also, right?
Yeah.
But in the flow, Kavya said that she's crying and she's turning a bit blue. He looked at Anya and said that she's having trouble breathing because the oxygen levels here are really low.
Mm.
So you should go down. And he took out something from his pocket. We don't know what it was rather. It was something of metal, or we
Mm.
feel it was something of metal. He just took it out from his pocket, and just rubbed it on Anya's face like this gently.
Mm.
Then he said that now she will sleep, but you should go down now.
Yeah.
And and after that, Anya just slept.
Yeah.
Uh, and then the cab driver quickly drove back. There is a temple midway where the breathing conditions are better. That's where they stopped because
Right.
that also eventually. But there it's about like 4-5 kilometers down. So the weather conditions there are quite okay.
Right.
So and they told somebody there that that we are going. So somebody whenever we come back, the next car would tell us that that
Yeah.
and then somebody could drop us. So it wasn't very tough. But and then when they went down, Anya was still sleeping.
Yeah.
She was sleeping in some very I would say deep sleep.
Yeah.
Of and that was also scary
Yeah.
because you want to know if the kid is alive or not.
Right.
After
Yeah.
what that was even more scary. Till the kid is
Yeah.
crying, it's okay. Crying
Yeah.
is
You know that they're there.
that she's there, but she was just almost unconscious. And that's when suddenly, that's what Kavya told me, she suddenly stuck to her. Why is she not even responding?
Yeah.
And then she tried to wake her up, and she was in very deep sleep or whatever. I think we think she was given some sort of afim or something like
Yeah.
that.
Some
Some,
sedative.
yeah, some sedative, some local sedative or something, just to put her to rest.
Yeah.
And that's why he was also not responding. But then Kavya just shaked her up, and then she started crying again.
Yeah.
And after that, she settled down.
Yeah.
She slept, but she was, we were sure that he was breathing and she was alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and by the way, I didn't know any of this was happening.
Right.
We were in the museum and we were clicking photos and meeting Chinese army people and all that upstairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
For like half an hour, we came down and the car wasn't there, and we didn't know what had happened. Then we took a lift from one of the cars going downstairs, who dropped us to the temple where Kavya and Anya and my mom were there in the car. So that's when we figured out. By then, everything had settled down. Anya
Yeah.
was okay. She was sleeping. She had a bit of milk. So everything was okay by then. But yeah, in hindsight, it was quite a scary experience because yeah, anything could have happened, and
Yeah.
there was no medical facilities, there was no doctor, there was no pediatrician. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it's also a memory. I have told this 100 times to so many people. It's a
Yeah.
memory that will stay with us for a lifetime. It will bring every time I explain in so much detail. So it's fun, but yeah, it's something that probably you should not do also.
But I am very curious now, Amit. You've told us about this scare, and this happened on your first trip with her when she was
Yeah,
four.
this was the first trip. Yes,
Yeah.
very much.
So, didn't it ever scare you to not travel with an infant, Anya? I mean, you took
Uh,
so many more trips with her after that.
we've not gone to a very high mountain place after. Like, see,
Right.
Nathapal is quite heavy duty. It's not like Shimla, Masuri, Manali, right? It's quite heavy duty. So
Yeah.
like me and Kavya, we wanted to take Anya to Spiti Valley
Yeah.
or to Ladakh, because we've done those road trips and we really love those road trips. But we've
Right.
not done that
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
far. Two reasons.
Got it.
One was this, so we were scared. And the second is now I think Anya will hate sitting in the car all day and just watching, pretty mountains. So we will like it. Anya won't like it because Anya won't drive the car, so it's not so much fun for her. Both of us drive, so it's
Yeah.
fun for her. Also,
Yeah.
we've not done those yet. So that's the back step we took. But apart from that, we've been to a lot of beachy places, a lot of cities, a lot of hill stations also, but not like the hill stations. So it's been
Okay.
okay.
Amit, now you tell me, we are coming to an end of this conversation, but I have a couple of more questions for you. You tell me that if you could sit across your pre-parent self and if you could tell yourself anything, what would you say?
I would say do exactly what you did. Uh, yeah, I would say do exactly what you did. I think, yeah, I think there are no regrets, touch wood so far at least.
Yeah,
There are no regrets. We keep feeling at times, like specifically for skating, at times we feel, are we pushing her too hard? Is
yeah,
that even required? But I see Kavya's, I would say, conviction
yeah.
that this is the right thing and we should do it. So we sort of, we go with it. So yeah, I think there are probably we could have skipped the Sikkim trip. That's one thing that. But then we would not have had such a wonderful memory to share. Not wonderful, but an interesting memory to share. It's
Right.
okay. I think, see, whatever happens in life is for good, and that's what I believe. And one must cherish what you have. So yeah, I would, if I have to live this again, I will live it exactly this way.
That's so lovely. That's so lovely. And finally, Amit, if you could share one piece of advice or insight for our listeners that encapsulates who you are and what you stand for as a parent, what would it be?
I think so. Couple of things, I
Yeah.
would say. I'll say probably two, three things. One, for all the fathers, I think, or the husbands in you, just be prepared for a rough time because your wife is going to royally ignore you for the next 5 years if once you have a child. Just be prepared for it. You know, it can become a bit lonely at times, but
Yeah.
it's okay. That's the see, women I think sacrifice a lot to bring up a child. This is a man's sacrifice in bringing up a child. You have to
Oh,
sacrifice your relationship to a certain extent. It's And it's not just this. I think a lot of times you will feel like you're being taken for granted, you're being ignored, you're quite useless in the house. You feel all of that, once you become a father. It's okay. You're not. It's just a phase of life.
Yeah.
I'll find out if it eventually gets better or not.
And we'll ask you in a couple of years.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I would answer then. But that's what life is all about. And see, honestly, a relationship is all about sticking together and making every phase of your life happy. And it's also a beautiful part of your life because becoming a father is your child looks up to you a lot. You're in the eyes of your father, you are the in the eyes of the daughter, you are the best. You're like Shah Rukh Khan or Elon Musk or or Donald Trump for that matter, right? You're the best guy in the world.
Yeah.
She wants to just look at you as the hero, and she's
Right.
the only one who looks at you as the hero. In fact, I'll tell you a very interesting thing. One of
Yeah.
my co-brothers had shared with me when Anya was born. I remember still. I fondly remember it. He said, and it's a very controversial statement, by the way, but I'll say it.
Mm,
He said that a child daughter and a young child and a father relationship is the most unconditional relationship in this world.
mm,
Your parents, your wife, your siblings, your friends, uh, while they all love you and they're also unconditional, but they have some conditions somewhere or the other. Something always comes in. It always comes in.
right.
Uh, but your child father relationship is the most, or child mother also. As in
Mm,
a child parent relationship is the most unconditional relationship of all.
yeah.
Because the child wants nothing from you. He or she just wants your time. That's all. And they want love from you. That's all. There will come a point when they want, when they want stuff. They want your money, or they want you to do things, or they want whatever. But this probably till about 10 years, 10, 12 years of age, they don't have a mind of their own and they don't have a heart of their own. It develops, right? So I
Yeah.
think it's the most unconditional relationship ever. It's the he told me, my co-brother told me, I just listened to it. I feel it now.
Yeah.
So I think so you must enjoy this phase. It's very easy to let this phase go because it's tough with children. You have to put a lot of effort. Like we see so many of Anya's friends being brought up by maids. Parents don't have time. They are
Yeah.
partying out, or they are traveling, or whatever. But I think this phase is extremely, extremely precious
Yeah.
because the kid won't have time after a few years for you.
Yeah.
Don't miss this. I think like I miss some part of it because on weekdays I'm not there, and I see a lot of fathers also being there with children on weekdays as well. But then you have to do everything, so we try to balance each other out.
Yeah.
But on the weekends, I make sure that I give all the time that I have and more. So I think that is one very important thing that I would say, that cherish this time. Make memories. You'll have to work hard. It's not easy to bring up children. Children these days are extremely demanding in terms of effort.
Mm,
Purely in terms of effort. There's one class, then you have to play something. Like Anya can't sit idle. She can't
mm,
sit. The only way to make her sit idle is give her television, which we avoid doing as much as possible.
right.
So you have to work with her all through. So that's something that me and Kavya both really try hard to do. And yeah, I think that's one thing. So you must really cherish. It's a bit of hard work. I think what's also very important, see, it's like working, it's like how you do at work, right? You have a vision for your company or for your role, that this is where you see the company going, or this is where you see, let's say, my daughter going or becoming. I think having that vision is also very, very important because you can't have a different vision from who you yourself are. I think
Right.
that's a very, very important point. Like I can't expect Anya to be different than what me and Kavya are, be it in terms of studies or sports or extracurricular activities or in general. I think having that attitude in life is like I'll give you a simple example. And I was also never like that. Like whenever somebody elder would call me, I would say "haan."
Mm,
Kavya taught me, and then now she's teaching Anya to say "hanji."
mm,
So now that hanji is so much ingrained in me that the same thing is now there in my office also. So my
mm.
entire team also says hanji now. I also say hanji now. Like
Yeah.
even junior most person in the team.
Yeah.
So it's I think you have to develop that culture, and that the culture will only develop if you embrace that culture yourself. So you have to start yourself first. I think that part is very, very important. I think that's the other thing. So having that vision, that where you see your child being, and then working towards it by being yourself that person, I think that part is very, very important. Otherwise it's okay, there's no right or wrong. People have different, the people have a different, everybody has a different way of bringing up their children.
Right.
No right or wrong, in most cases. It's just, I think it's just who you are and who you want your child to be. So just enjoy that phase. I think it's a beautiful phase. It's a tough phase as well, but it's a beautiful phase. You make memories of a lifetime.
Yeah.
Take photos because you will use those photos later.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. I think it's a lovely it's a lovely time. I've really enjoyed my parenthood. I'm glad I have a daughter. Yeah, we've always wanted one child, so we got what we wanted. So yeah, that's what it is.
Beautiful, Amit. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. Your journey has been filled with so many incredible moments and insights, and I'm sure it will resonate with so many of our listeners. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Neha. You're doing a great job, by the way. This is we when we were expecting parents, or very young parents, we didn't have a channel like this to look up to. We used to follow Baby Center, but that's more textbook.
Right.
I think, and we would reach out to friends, understand their experiences. But I think this is a wonderful thing, because it's good to learn about others' experiences, how things have gone by, and what to do, because it's also a very scary experience.
Yeah.
The fear of the unknown is a lot. So yeah, I think you're doing a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you for your lovely words. And to everyone tuning in, thank you for being part of today's episode. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to share it with someone who might find it helpful, and subscribe to Parenthood for more inspiring stories. Until next time, remember, parenthood isn't a sprint, it's a journey. And every step, no matter how challenging, is worth it. Take care, and I'll see you next week.